people who are coming in late, but before we begin, and even in introducing ourselves, we like, as you probably most of you know, to videotape these proceedings, and then using the videotape, I need the videotape in order to make the minutes. And this, and I'm finding more and more, the more videotape I actually include. And actually, somebody even wrote to me and said, couldn't you videotape the whole thing and put it on? Because it's useful, because then it's not just my interpreting what people say.
Primary resource material.
And also, it's fun, you know, to see you are there kind of thing. But the reason I'm bringing it up, and I'm assuming that this would be all right with people, that I would put, and just want to make sure that I have permission. And also, I like the photographs. Usually,
I usually really embarrass myself at these meetings, though.
you never, nobody, welcome to the club. That's, you know, if we don't allow ourselves the freedom to embarrass ourselves, how will we learn? You know?
I just don't want other people to
Good
learn
morning, Tina.
about how I,
You know, everybody, I think, you know, is in the same club. So hopefully this will work. So just to begin with, because some people may not know everybody, just, you know, one sentence, your name and who you are. Charlotte Wile, I moderate the DNB Theory Bulletin Board.
Lynn Parkerson, I'm chewing my breakfast. I'm the founding artistic director of Brooklyn Ballet.
And before we
Wait, Lynn, can I see you?
we skip.
Can you?
Hi,
And
here I
this,
am.
There you are. Hi, Lynn.
Can you see me?
So nice to meet you.
Right,
I've heard so much
oh, I
about
see.
you all these years. So thank you.
Well, glad to meet you,
and
Skype-wise.
this is Susan. Would you
I'm
introduce-
Susan Gingrasso in Cold, Wisconsin, joining this meeting.
Sorry I cut in front of you.
Do you want to change
Still getting
your
used to
name
technology.
That's quite all right.
to deal with this, Sandra, or would you like to stay where you are?
Probably be easier if we switch, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm really switching
Yeah,
across
and
your
then I
phone.
can even. Okay, we've been playing musical
you've
chairs.
migrated all the way around the table.
Well, we could notate
I think
that.
one more and you're back
We'll
where
make
you started.
a little score
It's right there.
of our thing. All right.
Excuse me, am I supposed to?
Yeah, we're
We're just
switching.
doing a
Yes.
little chair
I can't
migration
move.
so that.
Oh, well, do a little saute over the chair.
Potty
No,
shop.
sorry. Here you go. Careful of the bag that you
So
don't
Sandra can be
hurt
next to the
yourself.
computer and
Thank
help
you.
manage
Sorry.
your Skype connection.
Thank you, Sandra. Here we go. That'll be great. Okay, so let's continue with the introduction.
Good morning, I'm Tina Curran, Director of the Language and Dance Center in the United States and Assistant Professor at the University of Texas at Austin.
Ooh.
I'm Frederic. I teach in the dance education program at New York University, and I'm also on faculty at Lynn's in the certification programs.
I'm Zack Brown, a pugnacious obsessive who just loves lab notation for no other reason than that it's great, and usually, you know, spend my time arguing with people about, you know, what it means.
You're in the right place.
Does anybody not know this wonderful lady? The reason that we're all here.
Well, I'm the lady who challenges Zack.
And all of us.
Which I very much appreciate.
Not only the reason we're all here because of this immediate meeting, but the reason we're here at all for any reason is because of Anne, who invented what we love.
Susan, can you hear everyone?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Do you want to say any more?
Oh, I don't think I need.
No, I don't.
I just didn't want to cut you off. Lynn Weber, Dance Notation Bureau Executive Director.
May, the librarian here. Hello.
So,
And
Charlotte Wile.
Sandra.
Sandra.
Oh,
What, by switching places, they got out of
There yes,
go.
got out of
Gotta
order.
be careful.
sorry.
Sandra Aberkalns, notator.
There you go.
Done. I once introduced myself at a company that I started working for. They asked me to say a few words about myself. I said, Zack Brown. technical writer. I think they all just wanted to throw me out right there. Technical writer, that's the best you could do.
Oh, right,
So, yeah.
well, we know Sandra is anyway. So the topic for today is as you know, is central, the concepts, the application, your experiences with central, transverse, and peripheral. And actually, Tina and I just now had a nice conversation with Frederic about this, that these terms or these ideas are used by people in our communities, even within the individual communities, it seems to me, and based on what I understand, in very different ways. And one of the ways, and actually I suspect the oldest, the most historic use of these concepts belongs to the work that Anne has been doing with the concepts and the words. So what we want to do today is to, using the term that we've been using through the years about these get-togethers where we're trying to figure out and see what different people are, how different people are using these different ideas, is to map the different perceptions.
Which I have here.
Great, from our past get-togethers. But today, of course, we're going to focus on this group of terms. And so I thought, if everybody is amenable to this, that we would spend a big chunk of our time, at least an hour, maybe more, at least an hour, letting Anne tell us about her perception of these concepts and terms, and and allow ourselves the freedom of seeing, of talking with her and sharing and going back and forth, and then we could then spend the last part of the meeting using that discussion as a springboard for discussing some very different ideas, I think, about what the terms mean. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Anne, and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you, Charlotte. When I was a student at the Yoslader School in 1936, we learnt the qualities of movement. It was called eukinetics, or kinetics. And one of the factors was central and peripheral movement. And when Laban evolved his effort work and then shape, this was for factory workers where central peripheral had no place. And so Laban dropped that side of the picture. And in time, the LMA people seem to have found the need for it, although they are coming from a rather different place, because at Dartington it was all concerned with the movement, and whether the movement was physically central or whether it was physically spatial, whether it was spatially central or whether it was spatially peripheral. So it stemmed much more from the movement, that an extremity would be the peripheral part of the body, and that could possibly be the elbow. When it is used in this manner, it becomes a peripheral part. But in the LMA, you have your proximal, your distal, and mid-joint, and so on. So it really is a different focus. we explored, for instance, that for the hand, the wrist is the central part, and of course the fingertips are the distal peripheral part. So, to the extent that body parts are capable of differentiating and taking on this kind of movement concepts varies. Obviously, the legs are less flexible than the arms, but we were concerned by the body, central and peripheral, and the spatial, central and peripheral. So you could have peripheral movements happening spatially central. And it was very general, so how close spatially central had to go was never pinned down. If you wanted centrally expressed peripheral movement, so a peripheral movement that became central because of the inclusion of the body. So this kind of movement ideas were the basis, and at that time there were no symbols for them. It was just the terminology that was used. So Kurt Hughes said to me one time he was so sorry that Laban dropped central and peripheral, because he felt that for theatrical dance in particular, they were still needed. And so it's interesting how eventually LMA came to use those terms, and I think really came from a different point of view.
Definitely.
So, I don't know, have I been clear enough? Give you some idea?
How did Laban come to be doing this particular project for the factories rather than for theatrical dance?
It was World War on.
Uh-huh.
And the authorities were notified that this man deals with movement and movement analysis and could be helpful. And so he was brought in to improve the production in certain factories. And I will just mention this since you brought it up. For instance, he realized that somebody who's like this, one of these people in life, is not going to be any good at putting the ball bearings into place. Women had to do men's jobs. There were these tires that had to be up on the hooks to be sprayed. And he taught the ladies how to use momentum, swing, and they were able to get them up with ease, and they sprayed more tires than the men ever had.
Interesting.
So where we had in eukinetics strong and weak, relaxed, Laban had no use of that. And as Lisa Ullman said, but you have to make an effort. And the factory workers were making efforts, they couldn't relax. And so relaxation, weakness, that whole side was eliminated. And then brought in later when the need was felt, and it was called passive wind.